this way, this way, this way. Alright, here we are on a Concealment Operative. I sound sexy. Alright. I don't know, I hate my voice when I listen to it on my past broadcasts and I'm watching my own YouTube videos. I don't know, I think I sound weird and ridiculous. But anyways. So here we are on a Concealment Operative. Alright, so again, let's go over set bonuses. For DPS, your number 2 is Laceration and Corrosive Assault. Increase the damage by 2% for 15 seconds. Every class has one of those. Backstab and Lethal Strike. Reduce energy cost by 2. And activating Shiv and Veiled Strike. Make your next volatile substance critically hit. So, your main burst comes from. It's weird because my 9 button was always my hidden strike, and now the hidden strike's gone, it always messes me up. Anyways, so your main burst will come from. There we go. Blood Boiler or Volatile Substance. Volatile Substance coupled with a Backstab will hit for a lot. As well as when your Veiled Strike crits, it hits for a massive amount. So, a little tip that I learned from actually Mosh is I usually don't come from stealth with a Backstab. The damage it does increase from just being out of stealth, because when you're in stealth and you do backstab, it counts as a hidden strike. I don't do that because for me, it's not worth it. So what I like to do, what I do is I come up from stealth, I'll hit my Volatile Substance, do a Veiled Strike to get my proc auto crit, and then I'll do a backstab. And then that hits at the same time as my backstab. So if all those crit right there, your enemy's almost dead. Then I'll do a Veiled Strike. I'm sorry, Laceration. And then you just go back and forth till it's off cooldown, pop it again, do a backstab to get that poison on them. Now, note, I know it was in the old way, I have to look to see, but I think I see a lot of people do Laceration without having poison on their target. So, if your backstab's on cooldown and your backstab poison effect has already ended, make sure you do a Corrosive Dart before you start doing your Laceration. You never want to lacerate a non-poison target. So if they're not poison, make sure you have that target Corrosive Darted before you do Laceration. So again, your main rotation will be Volatile Substance, Veiled Strike, Backstab, failed strike again, and then start your laceration rotation. Obviously, your crippling slice is good to have to root them. That'll root them in place, and they can't turn. And again, you got your debilitate. And what I also get is I get the root on severed tendon. So I like having that root on severed tendon. Plus, it's a 10-meter range, I believe. Yes, 10 meters. So if they're kind of getting out of range, you can do it. Another keynote is always have your culto probes on you and ticking 2 at all times. And when you start to get low and you need an extra little heal boost, whenever you hit that second probe, it'll force a tick to restart the count. So do that. So again, your rotation should look like this. Alright, so that is what it should look like when you want to really rape somebody. No, for concealment, you have no dot spread. You're a burst spec. Concealment is a burst spec, doesn't have dot spread. So, let me go over the utility. Let me go over my stats first. Again, I go for the I know on my, it shows here on my alacrity is 6% and my critical multiplier is low. That's not actually true. I have an enhancement here that I swap out between, because on my operative I made a healer, so my healing gear, I've got a little, on my scoundrel, my earpieces and implant are a little bit different, so I have to swap this enhancement out whenever I switch to DPS on my operative. So then I just throw in that, I swap out that enhancement real quick, and then my stat will be 5% alacrity, 71% surge. So again, on most of my healing and DPS, I go 5% alacrity, 70% or 71% surge. So these are my utilities. So I like to getting the reduced damage. Obviously, taking less damage is better. Again, so that's what these two utilities are for. And then I like the extra movement speed and increased stealth level. Obviously, normal stealth without this ability, everybody can see you walking up from a mile away. Now, what you can do is you can take this, and sometimes I'll swap this out and go ahead and get 4 in the skillful tree, and I'll get the reduced cooldown on debilitate. I also like having, again, like I said earlier, having the severed tendon root, so that I can root them in place, get back up on them, and continue bursting them down. I also always get the, whenever you're attacked, reduces the cooldown on your evasion. This was part of the healing tree, and now that all operatives have it, it's pretty fucking powerful. So it's good to have. And also I get the increased damage absorption by your shield probe. Also note that when you roll, you become completely immune to all damage and all stuns. So when you notice you're starting to take a lot of damage, make sure you do that roll. Get that roll. Or, you know, you got a PT on you and you see him stack up that thermal detonator. You know he's about to do his energy burst. Roll. You absorb all that damage and it becomes nil. A tip to watch out for. So say you're fighting an Arsenal Merc. Thing to note about Arsenal Mercs is when they do chaff flare, they absorb the next 5 force and tech abilities. So if you're going to town and you see him pop that on a Merc and you see him pop that chaff flare, it's time to switch targets, because you're just going to waste your entire burst rotation because he's going to absorb all of it. But anyways, that is the oversight of the Concealment Operative and Scrapper Scoundrel. Let me